try a beachside wild camp today. I don't know if I can actually get to where I want to go. It's going to be a bit of an adventure really.
The plan seems simple: park up and walk 2 hours along the beach to a remote forested area of the Scottish coastline to camp by the sea. The catch was, having never actually scouted out the area before, and the light rapidly fading with the shorter winter days, and not knowing if the incoming tide would cut me off completely, I had no idea if I would actually be able to get to the area I wanted to camp at, or if there'd be anywhere suitable to pitch if I did reach it. This was by far the most spontaneous, adventurous and uncertain wild camp I've ever attempted to date.
I've already walked about half an hour, but can you see it kind of loops around there, and the dark shades is where the forest starts. So see if we can make it there. The tide's quite high and it does look like it comes up fairly high, just judging by watermarks and kelp and stuff on the ground. But there is always land I can scurry up to if it all goes south. So yeah, still don't know how it's going to work, but I have options to bail if it doesn't work.
At the start of the walk, there were lots of other people out on the beach, but the further along I walked, people were replaced with seabirds, gulls bobbing in the waves or hovering in the air, and hooded crows waddling along the shoreline.
Look at this, it's just a tree stump with all its roots just washed up on the beach, sitting there. Never seen that before. And behind me, where is it? Oh, I don't know if you can see, like maybe just about. It kind of looks like sky. That's actually mountains. That's the west coast of the North Coast 500 that you can see just across the way. So it's just a gorgeous part of the country to be in. The views aren't half bad. I'm walking in that forest. It's not getting any closer. I'm starting to run out of beach as well, as in like sand, because the sea's coming up so high and it's going to force me onto the pebbles, and they're not as fun to walk on, so I'm really just trying to plough ahead and get there. Okay, I've come up onto the sandbank. Look at the views, it's amazing. So I'm on this path now because the forest has started, got to the forest, so I think I'm just gonna try and keep walking until I find the first suitable place to camp really. Found a pitch tent. View. Not bad, is it? So I'm definitely challenging myself tonight. This is the most exposed and unhidden camp I've ever done. So let me just show you where I am. So there's just a trail going all the way along the coast. As you can see, my tent isn't hidden by anything, 360. So yeah, new. I pitched up just in time as well. It's getting pretty dark, the sunset's about to happen, so I'm just gonna sit and watch it, enjoy the show. It's not a bad view.
From my tent porch, I sat and watched seabirds until I lost the light completely. My favourite birds to watch were the oyster catchers. Shy and wary of humans, they are quite flighty and fly away when you walk towards them, even from quite a distance away. But still and silent in my perch at a safe distance, I was allowed to immerse myself in their world for a time. Oyster catchers specialise in eating shellfish, which they prize or hammer open with their strong flattened bills. They are wading birds and have a wonderful half-waddle, half-scurry kind of walk that always makes me smile to watch. They are very distinctive and so easy to identify. Large, black and white bodies with bold orange, red bills and reddish-pink legs. They are also noisy, so you'll often hear them before you see them as they make their loud peeping noise. When they fly, they have a beautiful white V-shaped pattern on the tops of their wings to contrast against the black.
There are so many geese flying over at the moment. They're literally everywhere and it just keeps going and going. It's so cool to watch their shapes move. They like sliver across the sky, like they're all kind of joined by one piece of string. Probably can't see much, but a really red light. There we go. But I'm all snuggled up, trying to keep warm. I'll see you in the morning. Good morning. When I went to sleep, you can hear that it's really loud because the sea is practically at my feet. When I went to sleep, it was high tide, and obviously it's on a 12-hour cycle. So 12 hours later, I went down to bed at 8. It's 7:30 in the morning now. It's practically high tide again, so I could track roughly what time it was in the night by how far or close the sea was. I always like it when I can tell the time naturally by natural elements like the sun. Just never been able to tell it by the waves before because I've never been around the sea for so long, so that was really cool. The oyster catchers are back. There are just seabirds everywhere at the moment. Everywhere.
In no rush to pack up, I enjoyed watching the morning flurry of bird activity before heading off, watching gulls swoop overhead and geese and gannets flying low through the water, skimming the surface with their shadows. It was nice to see so many seabirds. Our seabirds are currently suffering from the worst recorded outbreak of avian influenza. They are dying in such large numbers that it is threatening whole populations and even species survival. If you live close to the coast, you may have noticed a lot of dead seabirds washed up on the beach. I know I passed by a large number on this camp.
of me? Look how well I packed that down. If you saw my last vlog camp, you know what I'm all about. Pretty chuffed with that. I am so glad I did this camp. It definitely got me out of my comfort zone of what I'm used to. Still get nervous about solo wild camping, and up until now I've gone to great lengths to know exactly the spot I'm going to pitch way before I've even gone there. So I stake out the area, and I've up until now liked to have it really hidden. So coming today without knowing where I was going to pitch, even anything about the general area, if I could make it here, and having such an exposed pitch, people could see from a mile off if they were around. That was really big for me, but it was fine. It was absolutely fine. And I often see online like people do diagrams of the comfort zone, like there's a dot in the center of the page and that's you, and then just all the white space around it. It's like everything life has to offer you, and then your comfort zone is represented by a circle around the dot that is you, and anything between the dot of you and this circle is the kind of the aspects of life that's out there for you to sample because of what you're comfortable with. But then everything outside your circle is stuff that you probably won't ever be able to access if you just won't take that one little step outside your comfort zone to try it. Tonight is a big night. I'm going camping, but it's a wild camp, and it's my first ever wild camp. It's also my first ever solo wild camp on my first wild camp. Feeling much nervous, apprehension, excitement. Don't know how it's gonna go. Don't know if I'm gonna love it or hate it. Really hoping I love it. I'm gonna take you along with me for the ride, and let's see what happens.
Needless to say, I loved it. That first wild camp was in July, and since then I've done 11 more in the space of 5 months. I've gone on wild camps on work nights with my mum and took my dog on his first camping trip. I've slept out on a tarp beneath the stars of the South Downs and the green leaves of trees. I slept in a small shelter in the woods on the second highest point in Surrey, ventured high into the mountains in France for my first taste of alpine camping, and now I'm camping legally in the woods of Scotland, having my first taste of midges and wild, expansive spaces. It's safe to say I'm so glad I decided to step out of my comfort zone.
And I just wanted to say thank you so much to you all as well, because although ultimately it's down to me if I go out or not, all your encouragement week on week and all your little tips that really speed up my learning process have been such a big help. And even though I know you're just for a screen, you're not really just for a screen. It really does feel like you're all here with me when I'm physically doing it, and it's just made it so much easier and much more fun. So thank you. There's something about wild camping that just like gets you in your head and thinking more. Wouldn't normally have these thoughts if I was just sat at home watching TV with my porridge.
Walking back along the beach, I found myself reflecting on how far I've come. I'm still not an experienced or confident wild camper by any stretch of the imagination, but I've made a start, and if I keep on making lots of small steps, maybe one day I'll actually get there. I started wild camping to see if I'd enjoy it, to spend more quality time outdoors, to have more adventures, to put myself outside of my comfort zone. And now, in the last 5 months, I've had more adventures and amazing experiences than I've had across years and years. What makes me nervous will be completely different to what makes you feel uncomfortable, but I suspect we all have a beautiful story to tell of when we did step outside our comfort zones, whatever that is for all of us, and had an amazing experience. I guess what I'm trying to say is, you know that thing that's making you nervous? I think you should go do it. Or at least take that first step towards it.
I feel really quietly ecstatic this morning. I feel like I made a really big step forward in my solo wild camping adventures. So glad I could share that with you. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe to join our lovely little outdoor family here, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Have a lovely week. Bye.